Good evening, it's Friday. Man, you have no idea. I want to thank you for attending this celebration to honor some very special College of the Desert employees. Our Board of Trustees are here this evening to help recognize all of our faculty and staff honorees. Chair Bonnie Steffen. Thank you, Brian. I think those are the only two. I would say, unfortunately, Trustee O'Neill couldn't be with us this evening, but he sends all of you his best. And Trustee Sanchez and Trustee Wilson may be joining us shortly.
I just called Brandon.
Thank you to the Cause of the Desert Foundation for sponsoring tonight's event. Also, thank you to Angela for organizing the celebration. Angela. I love the color of her blouse, so I'm going to go here. The Board of Trustees and I know that College of the Desert could not function without the talents of every single one of our employees. The people we are honoring this evening represent a broad range of skills that are equally important in fulfilling our mission of providing excellent educational programs and services that contribute to the success of our students and the vitality of the communities that we serve. Everywhere you look, you see the impact of College of the Desert. It is very rewarding to celebrate your commitment to this institution, not in weeks, months, or even semesters, but in years. Some of you have played multiple roles in support of our students, and many of you count your length of service in decades. Now, after many years of dedicated work, you've reached a milestone. Somebody's smiling over there because they know I was talking about them. So let's first, tenure. Tenure is a practice in educational institutions which allows faculty to research and teach within an atmosphere of academic freedom. Historically, the intent of tenure is to allow original ideas to be more likely to arise by giving scholars the intellectual autonomy to investigate the problems and solutions as they see fit, and to report their honest conclusions. At College of the Desert, tenure is a process of review and assessment of new faculty members. Attaining tenure means that a faculty member has progressed through this evaluation process and has demonstrated mastery of his or her discipline and a commitment to student learning and effective teaching. Tenure is recommended by the faculty and approved by the Board of Trustees. Tonight we are pleased that we have 4 tenure recipients. We would like to acknowledge our first tenure recipient, Adele Bynum, who unfortunately could not be with us this evening. So I'd like to ask Dean Scott Cooper if he could please join me.
It is my honor to acknowledge Adele Bynum as a recipient of the status of tenure at College of the Desert. When I was preparing my remarks, I talked to a lot of students and staff, and I've known Adele for about 7 years now, and a lot of the things that came up were her clothes and how she's never worn the same thing twice in the entire time that anyone has ever known her. But I promised that tonight would not be a roast. We'll save that for later. Maybe the trio grad and transfer ceremony, we can say some more roast-like things about Adele. Tonight, I'd like to kind of voice a lot of the comments that I heard from many different people. So this is what I synthesized from all those voices, and this is for Adele. Compassionate, dedicated, tireless, a believer in those that many times do not believe in themselves. From students' lips comes the praise that really matters for Adele. For her life's work has been a soldier in a war, and that war is on poverty. Every day without eating lunch, she takes the fight to the enemy of ignorance, self-doubt, and poverty. I first met Adele in 2008 when I interviewed to become an adjunct counselor in the ACES program. Like all of our students over the years, the day that I met Adele changed my life. She gave me a chance. I was a high school teacher ready for a challenge, and she gave me that opportunity. She mentored me and helped me see the big picture of what the Trio family was doing nationally since 1964. Growing up in the thick of the civil rights movement in the South, Adele knows the importance of Trio and its impact from a perspective that most of us will never know. Langston Hughes in 1951 captured the spirit of hopelessness that had pervaded parts of the country in the poem, What Happens to a Dream Deferred? And he says, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink and rot like meat? Or crust and sugar over like syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Growing up, Adele faced a world filled with discrimination, and she stared it down with that Chicago attitude of hers. Graduated from Berkeley and made it her mission to spread the seeds of change. Adele has become a role model for students, and if you talk to anyone about Adele, they'll tell you that she meets everyone where they are. She doesn't judge, she listens. She vigorously defends, motivates, challenges, inspires, pushes, pulls, raises, cares, shares, and dreams futures so bright for students that they can finally see it themselves. They can finally see a world in which they belong, and their dream is no longer deferred. Today we celebrate Adele's tenure with College of the Desert, and we celebrate the many students she has served and the lives she has changed, but more importantly, we look forward to the students yet to come. Congratulations, Adele.
Next, we acknowledge our tenure recipient, John Girardi. Dean John Jaramillo, will you please join me?
Thank you. It is truly my honor to acknowledge John Girardi as a recipient of the status of tenure at College of the Desert. Through the 4 years of the tenure process, John has worked very hard engaging with the COD campus as a whole. He's chaired many committees, attended several conferences to improve both his craft of teaching as well as his discipline knowledge. He's volunteered for many a meeting, which I deeply appreciate. He really hit the ground running on looking at his curriculum and saying, we need to make this relevant. We need to make this so that students will find work in the career areas of accounting. One of the most successful things that he's about to implement, that's been an ongoing process that we're very excited about, is the change in curriculum so that students on our campus can be certified as tax preparers, so they can immediately work, both while attending COD, as well as they continue on in their academic pursuits, whether they're going transferring or whether they're going to take just one of our certificates and degrees and stay and immediately work. But the idea of being able to work as a tax preparer, earning money while going to school, is a significant improvement in a lot of our programs, taking that industry certification with them. We're very excited because John's ideas didn't stay there. He envisions a tax preparation office here on campus where students are helping other students and staff and faculty who need it to fill out their tax returns each year. So the students are therefore building their resume, gaining that real-world experience that they need to get that first or second job, as well as just gaining that workplace soft skills that we hear so much from in the industry. We're very excited about that, and we look forward to the realization of that, and we've been getting terrific support from administration to get there. Through this process, John also has been very active in his community. He successfully ran for the school board of Palm Springs in 2014. He's chaired the Desert Hot Springs Planning Commission. He's a spokesperson for the Desert Hot Springs Citizen Finance Committee. He's been a past president of the Palm Springs Kiwanis, the Cabot's Pueblo Museum Foundation, and a former board member of the Cathedral City Senior Center. John is very engaged throughout the community, and it shows. John holds a CPA, which really demonstrates to his students that he is at the top of his craft. During his 4 years, students have made many positive comments, things that I'd like to share, not just on his effective teaching, but also on his approachability, his sense of caring, and his ability to really assist students and get to the root of where they're having problems and making them successful. This awarded tenure is actually a smart investment for COD. John will be able to contribute to the success of both students and the institution. I congratulate him on his milestone. He has earned it. I am certain he will provide outstanding instruction and faculty leadership for many years to come. Congratulations, John.
Right, John? He's not paying attention. John. Did I say it was Friday? Next, we acknowledge tenure recipient Lisa McFadden, who also could not be with us this evening, but I'd like to ask Executive Dean Annabelle Neary to please join me.
Thank you. It is my honor to acknowledge Lisa McFadden as a recipient of the status of tenure at College of the Desert. Before I proceed with my comments, I wanted to ask the Director of Counseling, Amanda Phillips, to share some words as well. And I'll share a couple about Lisa. Lisa is a COD alumna, and I remember meeting her a few years ago when I was adjunct faculty and seeing her dedication to the international students in the program. And in fact, she was so dedicated to the international students in the program. In every transition, she stepped up, served the students, met the needs and requirements of the program, and I've never seen anything like that. And I really commended her for that. Although, I heard she has some baking skills, and I think I'm a little offended because I haven't seen or eaten any of her banana bread. But I just wanted to congratulate her on tenure and General Counseling. We welcome you, Lisa, with open arms. We congratulate you, and we are looking forward to seeing your dedication with all of our students. But I know she has a special place for the international students in her heart.
Dr. Neary took most of it, but I've been very fortunate to get to know Lisa a lot better this year as I became the director, and I'm very glad to have her joining us in general. She's already made such an impact with the international students that I know that her impact with the students in general will be great, as well as the excellent baking that we can't wait for.
Lastly, we acknowledge our tenure recipient, Anna Stockwell. I'd like to ask our Executive Dean, Dr. Neary, to join me at the microphone.
Again, it is my honor to acknowledge Anna Stockwell as a recipient of the status of tenure at College of the Desert. I first met Anna, we worked together on the scholarship committee, and I don't even think Anna said hello, other than she walked in and said, "I'm here to get scholarships for nursing students." And what was interesting was, prior to kind of her full commitment, her and the nursing faculty had a lot of ideas and did a lot of work with the nursing students that I think did not necessarily get recognized. But what she did know is that in the last few years, only 1 or 2 or 3 or a handful of those nursing students got those scholarships. And all of them needed it in one capacity or another. Anna was there and she was sharing their personal stories, she was sharing their hardships, and this incredible time commitment, and that those scholarships should be spread across all the students and all the programs for the nursing students. And I remember, and I think Anna went on for about another 10 or 20 minutes because she was prepared. And then we looked at her and we said, actually, we agree. So Anna went back and worked with the dedicated nursing faculty and came back with a rubric from the information they have. And since she got involved at that level with the nursing faculty, I've never seen so many nursing students across the board in all levels get those nursing scholarships. And I really think as an advocate and as understanding the special stories, and they were hard stories she had to listen to and counsel them through and advise them through, that it really was to her credit. And above and beyond that, I would get also a visit from the nursing faculty and Leslie saying that she should not be on grant dollars and that they will find for any dollar they can find to make her a general counselor and that she could eventually become tenured as she deserved. And what was interesting about that dialogue is even though Anna was grant funded, I don't think she ever turned away a student. So cover your ears, Leslie, and don't record this. So again, congratulations. I really enjoyed working with you on different projects. I know the nursing faculty and the nursing students really appreciate everything you have done for them. We welcome you with open arms to general counseling. And if you bake too, I'm more than happy to eat that as well. Thank you.
Go on, go on. Okay, thank you and congratulations to all our tenure recipients. We're also gathered this evening to recognize those who are retiring after many years of service to College of the Desert. It's amazing to me that if you add up all their years of service, the total comes to 205 years. 205 years. In recognition of up to 10 years of service, please stand. Nancy Shaneline, who could not be here tonight, 10 years. Also who could not be here tonight for 10 years, Rene Reynolds. Celebrating 11 years, Dr. Wayne Boyer. Please stand. The very docile Carol Wade. And the man without his hat, Douglas McIntyre. Douglas and Carol have been here for 13 years. 14 years, Officer Christopher Madden. Now we're starting to show some time. 15 years, Paul Mag. 16 years, Carrie Phillips. So, in honor for those with 20 to 30 years of service, Tom Gilman, 26 years. In honor of over 30 years of service, my next birthday. It's not that funny, okay? Redmond said that. Sorry. Craig Green, who could not join us this evening, 33 years of service. is what really waited the 205 years. 205. And finally, with 44 years of service, supporting College of the Desert, Charles Flores. Well, on behalf of the Board of Trustees, we thank you all for your commitment to our students and your dedication to College of the Desert. Your contributions have made a difference, and we are all grateful. Thank you very much. At this time, deans, directors, and co-workers would like to share reflections of their retirees, as well as extend tokens of our appreciation and gratitude for all they have done for the College of the Desert. I would like to ask Dean Leslie Young to please join me as she shares thoughts of her retirees, Dr. Wayne Boyer, Director of Nursing and Allied Health, Paul Magg, Counselor and Alternative Media Specialist, and Nancy Shainline, who is retired as DSPS Proctor.
Wayne Boyer, psychiatric nurse. When I first became dean, and he was our psych nurse for our psych rotations and theory, he came and he said, "I'm really interested in being a director of nursing. What do you think?" And I said, "Do you have tenure?" And he goes, "No." And I go, "You're crazy." So he went and he got his tenure, and it came up again. No one stays in this position very long. And when he first started working in the position, we talked about what his jobs and duties and responsibilities were. And I said, okay, well, the first thing is the fall schedule is coming up. We've got to get clinical nursing instructors. We've got to get facilities and contracts in order. And you have to talk to all the other nursing programs and get the schedules all set for the facilities. He came back in a couple of weeks and he's like, done. I'm like, what? He is a taskmaster, and he had it all done. He was all proud, and we went on to other things. And then about 3 days before classes start, he walked into my office, panic-stricken. I think Margaret was there. And he said, oh my God, someone called and they're not going to be able to teach, and classes start in 3 days, and one of our facilities was sold to a new corporation, and they're not going to honor our contract. And another school called and they want to change the schedule. And I said, yeah. And that's how it's been for the last couple of years. He learned really quickly, and he's been, during his tenure as director, we got our approval, our last approval from the Board of Registered Nursing, and he is amazing at tracking compliance and keeping us all in good standing, and we really appreciate all you've done, Wayne. Thank you very much. Although he is retiring from the California Community College system, he is starting a new career, and he's now going to be a nursing education consultant for the Board of Registered Nursing for the state of California. He was the only male that's been hired, and he's the only doctorate prepared nurse that's ever been hired by the board to be an education consultant. Our current consultant from the board graduated from our program, and now we're sending the board Wayne, so we're very proud of our contributions to the state board. Thanks, Wayne. Paul Magg, mountain biker. Now he gets to do it some more, right? Paul came to work at COD 15 years ago? Yeah, 15 years ago as a part-time instructional support aide in the High-Tech Center for Disabled Student Services, right? And he was working on his master's in rehabilitation counseling. And Trustee Michael O'Neill was the faculty coordinator at the time and saw a lot of strengths in Paul. And when he got his master's degree, he applied and became a half-time alternate media specialist and a half-time rehabilitation counselor. And that's what he's been doing for the last 15 years. So I walked in yesterday into the main part of our office and there was a huge crowd of people. And they were faculty and students, and in the middle was one of our students who had made a large tray of truffles, handmade truffles for Paul. And I thought, the thing about Paul is the relationships that he's built with our students. They are really going to miss him, and he, I know, is going to miss them. And of course, that's the most important thing that we all do in this job, is build those relationships. And Paul's been exceptional at doing that. So thank you for your service. He's a very happy person. He's been planning for the last 10 years to move to Salida in Colorado and go mountain biking again. He was one of the original founders of the International Mountain Biking Association. And so he's going to get involved again. And he's also a TMer, and he's going to be more involved with that, working with veterans. So we wish you well. And I asked Michael O'Neill to come and speak, but he had already had another engagement, but he wanted to make sure that you knew what an outstanding employee that you were when he worked with you, and he's very sorry that he's not here. So congratulations. Who couldn't be here tonight, has retired, and she fulfilled such an important role in the Disabled Student Service office. She was our proctor, so many of you who are instructors have worked with her directly. It's such an important accommodation for our students to be in distraction-reduced environments, and she really created that aspect of our office, and we appreciate all that she's done. She is a budding photographer, or an amateur photographer, and she's an artsy-craftsy person, so she's really looking forward to doing some of those things, and we really wish her well. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Young, and I also thank you, Dr. Young. And I also appreciate you coming this evening, even though you are under the weather, and we would really understand if you need to go get well. Okay. I'd also like to acknowledge that Trustee Mary Jane Sanchez is with us this evening. Next, I would like Dean Scott Cooper to join me as he takes time to appreciate the docile Carol is retiring as our EOPS coordinator.
I'd like to welcome a colleague up as well to properly discuss the many fine qualities of Carol Swade. Elise, would you please join me? So there's three parts to this. One of her employees, one of my reflections, and a colleague's reflection here. So it's kind of like a mass. There's three different parts here. And our first reading is from the book of Kelly Blair. Chapter 1. I've worked with Carol every day for the last 10 years. It's been a fantastic relationship. During my interview for the EOPS position, I didn't quite know what to think. I needed the job as I just moved from Long Beach a few months before. I dressed to the nines for my interview. You can imagine Kelly. And here was this hippie-ish looking woman leading the interview along with a motley crew of other college employees. I kept thinking to myself, what am I getting into? When I got offered the job, I accepted and reported to work 2 weeks later. Carol turned out to be the nicest, friendliest, most helpful boss I had ever had. She helped me learn how the program worked. She turned my prejudice regarding low-income people around and taught me the truth about how the system really works, enough so that I could confidently correct people that were spreading lies on social media in public without having to apologize. The first time Carol had me print certificates for EOPS was a story in the making. We designed a certificate and she directed me to start working on them because it would take a few days to get them done. I walked out of her office, furrowed my forehead thinking, what in the world? I got the list, ran a simple mail merge, printed the certificates and gave them back in 20 minutes. She looked at me in disbelief. I explained to her what I had done. In amazement, she explained that the former secretary had typed each of the names individually and that it took 2 to 3 days to complete the task. I had created magic in the office for the first time, and I had been rewarded. The student workers were impressed, and I quickly began to teach them more efficient ways of doing their work. Carol is always positive. She loves to have fun. When we decorate the office for Halloween, she walks in and proudly announces, "We have spirit." We're not out to win awards for the best decorated office. We're doing this for the students. Our academic recognition ceremonies are always packed. We invite our students to bring their families and their children. Most of our students come from places that are not so nice. And if we can present a happy place for them to visit, and if it changes the attitude for just one student, we've done our job. We look at our students not just as students, but as our kids. EOPS is a family. Carol's made it that way. That is what makes working in EOPS such a pleasure. That's from the first reading from the book of Kelly. My reflections on Carol, I'll get a little metaphoric here. In life, there are small ideas, there are big ideas, and really, really big ideas. I think of them like water. They can fill your cup, they can fill it with love, creativity, passion, and dreams. Sometimes they're so big that you can hardly contain a single idea in one person. And so they become shared ideas because it takes all of us to hold on to something as big as the ocean. When I think of Carol, I think of hope. Carol is a really, really big idea that's taken the form of one person. She carries out that big idea in thousands of small ways every day. In the rush of the week, Carol's a whirlwind, passing through the halls with laughter, inspiration, chai tea, and a smile that brightens the darkest room. Carol is a song. She's a song that gets stuck in your head that tells you over and over that you can do it. Si c'est possible, en French, si se puede. She defends her students like a mother and is a consummate professional that mentors colleagues on a daily basis. She's a defender of the counseling profession and a fearless advocate for changes to benefit students. She's a firm believer in the mission of access in the community college, and she will fight tooth and nail beside students to help them reach their goals. To try to encapsulate her effect on this college, this community, and the world would be as impossible as holding back the tide. I can only thank her on behalf of the college and personally for her selfless service and genuine love of helping others. Thank you.
Well said, Scott. I think I can come up with one more thing, though. A few years ago, I purchased a stone from the Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial. And that stone was actually a piece of the stone from which the memorial was carved. And it came with a card, and that card talked about empowering others, embracing diversity, equality, justice, standing up for others. And as I continued to read, I kept thinking, Carol, Carol, Carol. It is so Carol. It's who she is. It's what she stands for. She advocates for her students like no one else that I know. She is their advocate, their champion, and I have been so proud to be her colleague for all of these years. So I just wanted to come and say congratulations, I love you. I look forward to golfing in the future.
At this time, I'd like to ask Pam Hunter, Executive Director of Institutional Advancement, to join me to appreciate Rene Reynolds, who is retiring as our Director of Community Relations.
Unfortunately, Rene can't be here this evening, but I still wanted to take the moment to acknowledge everything that she's done for College of the Desert. Most of you know that Rene has worked for many years in the President's office for both Dr. Sheehan and for President Patton. When Jerry reassigned Rene to work for the Office of Institutional Advancement, I was thrilled. At that time, I was doing, 3 or 4 jobs, including the Title V Director, and just another human being was fabulous. I cried happy tears. She was known all over campus for her hard work and her attention to detail. She's still a really hard worker and still has tremendous attention to detail. Rene is truly a community-based employee. You've seen her on stage at the McCallum in numerous College of the Desert musical productions, and she's a member of the Desert Chorale. For several years now, she's worked with the Girlfriend Factor, an organization that raises money to ensure that higher education and occupational training are financially accessible to adult women who choose to improve their economic position in life and who strive for self-sufficiency. Girlfriend Factor is not just about raising money, it's also about mentoring those women who've made those choices in their life, and Rene has done that with the same dedication she's shown to our College of the Desert students. She served as the liaison between the college and Girlfriend Factor for the past 3 years. One of Rene's many assignments is co-chair of commencement. For those of you who don't know, Rene's daughter, Brooke, this year is completing her education at College of the Desert and transferring on to UCSD. I asked Rene if she would be able to wear her regalia and join Brooke on stage. Rene told me, and I quote, "Brooke is not walking. She wants her first college ceremony to be at the university." I know, my own kid. This time of year, many of you are working on invitations and programs for events, and often you hear from Rene about using the templates and following the college's brand guidelines. Just because she's leaving doesn't mean you get to ignore them. Thank you very much to Rene Reynolds for 10 years of dedicated service to College of the Desert, our faculty, staff, and our students.
Next, Robert Rostek, Associate Professor of Biology, and representing Dr. Jim Berg, Pam Hunter will honor Dr. Doug McIntyre without his ball cap, who is retiring as Professor of Physics.
So first I'd like to say that Dr. Berg wrote my script and that he also designed my costume. When that duck shows up dressed differently. So these are Dr. Berg's words. There are some things in this life that are not worth contemplating. One of these is the retirement of Dr. Doug McIntyre, Professor of Physics. Doug is one of the best teachers on campus, by any measure. He cares about his students, he teaches them well,
and they learn. Students in all levels of physics, from introductory, which apparently means no math, to engineering, calculus-based physics. All students report that he's a great teacher, conducts awesome labs, and makes learning physics fun. Doug also cares about his colleagues in the sciences and math departments, and he cares about the college. As president of the Academic Senate, Doug helped lead the college during the difficult times of the recession, and he helped create the planning process and the annual program review update process. Okay, now remember, these are Dr. Berg's words. If we could all pretend for a moment that Doug is not retiring, maybe we can make it so. Okay, gotta laugh, but he's still going, it looks like. Instead, we wish Doug well for this new chapter of his life. Congratulations, Doug. Since I have the mic, you know I'm going off script, though. I had the good fortune of being the ALO when Doug was Senate President. We spent 2 years working on the self-study. Could never have happened without Doug McIntyre. He was an incredible co-chair and instrumental in the college's successful accreditation. Doug is a quiet leader who can see the end goal and works diligently to get there. For all of you Big Bang Theory fans, Doug, I'll play Penny to your Dr. Sheldon Cooper anytime.
Jim thought it'd be funny by doing that, but the benefit of longevity is what's really ironic is that our last physics professor dressed the same way, white shirts and khaki pants all the time. So I'm thinking it's just something in physics you guys do. I had the privilege to speak on Doug McIntyre's behalf as Science Department Chair, as he was recognized for his service, which is ironic, since it was Doug who spoke as Department Chair on my behalf when I received tenure 4 years ago. Doug came to work for COD in 2002 as a full-time physics professor. We would like to think he came to COD for the challenge of taking over a physics department that was full of potential and in need of guidance, when in reality it was probably just a play golf. Actually, to describe Doug as a workhorse would be an understatement. During his tenure here, he oversaw growth and sustainability not only in physics, but astronomy, computer science, and engineering. No small task for the department of one. He established and maintained a master schedule for STEM majors in order to allow students to take their prerequisite courses in biology, calculus, chemistry, and physics as efficiently as possible in order to transfer to four-year schools. As the only full-time physics faculty, he taught 3 levels of physics courses and designed new courses keeping the department relevant. He also redesigned the transfer physics courses to fit the transfer curriculum model so that STEM majors could transfer with greater ease. In addition to his teaching responsibilities, Doug served as Academic Senate President and Chair of the Science Department, as well as participated on numerous committees. Doug brought science to people outside the classroom through presentations for the Math and Science Lecture Series. Doug has been an important faculty member of the Science Department, dedicating himself to the welfare of his students. And I'd like to quote him in his own words. "I believe that teaching is one of my greatest strengths. I enjoy it immensely, and I'm very proud of the number of students I have worked with over the years who have transferred to four-year institutions in STEM majors. I often find myself in the role of mentor, guiding students to achieve their educational goals. Doug, I concur with you 100%, that your greatest strength has been your work with the students. You've been an excellent colleague and friend whose dedication, stamina, and good nature will be greatly missed. It will not be difficult to replace you in Carol. It will be impossible."
I was telling Pam, I left mine on the coffee table today. I was planning on wearing it for the dog, but damn. Tim McNamara, our director.